Hello everyone, this is Ree from Path to Divine Health, and so today we're attending a plant-based shopping class, and so it's sponsored by Lighthouse Wellness, and Sherry Duchette is the founder. And so many times we're asked, how do I get started on a plant-based diet? And a lot of people don't know where to start, and really to get started is really what you put in your shopping cart. So we're headed inside and we're going to go through the class, and we hope that this information will be beneficial to you if you're contemplating starting a plant-based diet and don't know where to start and need recommendations. So this video is for you. So let's go inside. Okay, so we've made it inside, and we've received our little packets, a nice little foodie canvas shopping bag, and Sprouts has also given us a $5 off coupon on the next $30 purchase, and we've received an African American starter guide that is put out in partnership with Tracy McCurder and Animal Sanctuary. And then Lighthouse Wellness has put together a plant-based shopping 1-through-1 guide for us to follow and what to stock in your pantry. So we're going to get started in a few minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. And by all means, if you have any questions, please comment and give us a thumbs up if this information as we go through this class has been beneficial to you.
My name is Sherry Duchette. I'm the founder of Lighthouse Wellness. Thank you for coming today. The purpose of this grocery store tour is to demystify plant-based living, right? And we're going to go through the store and just identify items that I think should be found in everyone's pantry to just make this a no-brainer type of situation for you, right? So that you're not tempted to fall off the wagon, so that you always have the basic tools in your pantry at all times to throw together a quick meal, right? Because I think a lot of times people equate plant-based with it's super complicated, who has time for that, right? And then you come into a store like Sprouts and it's like, wow, look at all those big bins of grains and nuts and seeds. What exactly am I supposed to do with that? I know it's healthy for me, but what do I do with that? So we're going to talk through that today. I have a resource list on the last page of your printout, right? So you go to the last page, there's resources, EWG is on there. The Dirty Dozen, those are the top 12 fruits and vegetables that have the highest amount of pesticides. So if at all possible, go organic with those, right? So that can be overwhelming, like, oh my God, I have to spend a ton of money, everything has to be organic. If we have to pick and choose, go with the top 12, the Dirty Dozen, go organic. Clean 15, those have been identified as produce having the least amount of pesticides. So you can feel really good about buying conventional and not going organic, right? I think pineapple is listed as Clean 15. They're selling $7 organic pineapple at Whole Foods. Yeah, take a pass on that. And go to Aldi. I'm sorry, well, we're not in Aldi's. Go to Sprouts and get, they have wonderful sales, and sometimes the pineapples are like $1. Get you a $1 pineapple. Buy 7 of them if it'll make it, rather than $7 for one, okay?
My name's Pamela, and I've worked with Sprouts for 4.5 years. I went to school at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and I'm a certified holistic health coach. I use this Dirty Dozen list. I eat an avocado, at least one every day. Those are not on my organic list. So, you'll settle into it. You'll start to get real comfortable with, okay, this one's good, this one, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what she does. So you're in good hands. When you start buying organic, the stuff is not preservative up. It's not, chemicaled up. And so when you get that stuff home, you got to use it, or it's going to go bad fast. Okay, let's go to produce. All of this, and if it's organic, it's going to have a green sticker. Does everybody know about? You know how fruits and vegetables have those little stickers? When you want to find out if it's for real, organic, it needs to start with a 9. Okay? Or, unless you were to go to a local farmer's market, where the farmers bring in their stuff, and you can ask them and they'll tell you, no, I grew this in nutrient and minerally dense soil, and I grew it myself, I used no pesticides, yada 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 yada. That's what we call slow food. Slow food is where it comes from the field to you. It's slow moving. It doesn't go across the world.
Sure. That you want to eat foods that reproduce. So if it doesn't have a seed, then it cannot reproduce.
Okay, that makes sense.
A lot of your grocery stores are set up that all of your processed foods are in the inside of the store, and how everything that again is organic or natural is going to be the peripheral, because that's what people will shop and that's what they need to move. Here in our produce section, our conventional is going to be on the outside, our organic is going to be the middle. Okay?
Cool.
Direct opposite. Okay? What are your thoughts on tofu?
I don't think it's. I think tofu has received a bad rap.
Yep.
I don't think everyone should avoid tofu, but what I do believe is that everyone should eat tofu in moderation.
Right.
Because in Western culture, we tend to go overboard anytime we hear that something is beneficial to our health. It's like, well, then let's slather ourselves in soybeans and put it in our cereal and, you know, and everything. But I think tofu is a wonderful protein source for a plant-based diet, just in moderation.
Right.
I think the key to a plant-based diet is variety, right? You don't want a diet high in beans, high in tofu, high in anything.
Right.
Just a wonderful assortment. Variety.
Exactly.
Variety.
Yeah. Everything in life is about moderation. It's not about going over the edge or going underneath. It's moderation in all things.
And I would add this: if you have a high occurrence of reproductive cancers in your family, if you're a woman, or you have been diagnosed, or you have a personal history of reproductive cancers, I would say stay away from tofu, because tofu is estrogenic. It's a really concentrated phytoestrogen, a plant-based estrogen. And some cancers, particularly reproductive cancers, are reactive to high amounts of estrogen, meaning it will cause cancer to grow. So, you know, on an individual basis, you just have to kind of gauge where you're at. If that's not your story, eat some tofu occasionally.
Yeah.
I love tofu scrambled.
Okay, let's go this way. Household products. Does everybody know about household products? Everybody clean with? I'm a minimalist. I go back to, again, what would my grandmother use? And my grandmother used white distilled vinegar. I wash my vegetables with it. I wash my windows. I clean everything. Clean my bottles and my glasses. It's just, it's perfect. But hydrogen peroxide is a good cleaner. So, but again, it's just expand your thinking. So, guys, there's options. And you get on that environmental working group website, man, let me tell you, there's so much good information on there. See, because the issue is that we put a lot of focus on the food, right? But the biggest contaminator is what we absorb through our skin, through our lungs, and
it puts a huge tax on our adrenals, right? And then you see a lot of us having thyroid problems, kidney problems, and issues with the lymph system.
Yep.
Perfumes,
Anti
hair,
deodorants, antiperspirants.
Yeah.
Which antiperspirants, if you think about it, how does our body rid itself of
Sweat.
toxins through sweat? And then we put something on our glands to prevent us from sweating, to prevent to keep us holding on to toxins. That is insanity. And where are those glands located?
Right next to the breast.
Next to the breast. Arrowroot powder is another
Yeah.
good. What is dusting? Arrowroot powder. Dust it up in your arms, under the boobs in the summertime, if that's a thing, right?
Right.
Stay away from that talc, right?
Yeah.
I know you've all heard about that, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, there's a lawsuit that is linked to
Yeah.
cervical cancer. Yeah, no baby powder.
No baby
chocolate
powder. None.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Cervical cancer.
Yeah. So, this is the laundry cleaner that I use. Have you seen this?
Yes, I love some.
I know. So anyway, this is made with essential oils.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that one that has frankincense in it?
Frankincense and myrrh.
Yes.
And I'll pass that around. Everybody can smell that. And let me
Yeah.
tell you, once you really get on this journey, on this path, Lord have mercy. We can, I mean, it is so fun.
Right.
It is so fun unraveling everything that they told us was good for us.
Right.
You start to unravel and you get, oh my God,
Yeah.
that's bad for me. So it's kind of fun. You unlock another door, you go through that door, and that unlocks another door. And
Right.
it's fun. You'll enjoy it.
Like any questions for Pam before we let her go? Since we're already here, we're gonna switch it up, okay? So come with me. Of course, we want to buy ideally fresh fruits and vegetables, but second, frozen, right? No can. It's been boiled to submission, has very little nutrient content. But what I believe is like the best frozen food ever is spinach. So for how much is that? Let's go with this one. Okay, so this is a pound of spinach. This is a pound of spinach. This is $1.99. This is $6. Stockpile your freezer with spinach. You can add it to anything. Instantly upping the nutritional content. So pound for pound, this is just a better buy, right?
Yeah.
This takes up a lot of space in the refrigerator. And when you cook it down, it's like a fraction of this. It's a fraction. So if you're thinking, should I go fresh or should I go frozen? Frozen spinach is the way to go. Look at our sheet, okay? Let's look at frozen. It's page 1.
Bottom of page 2.
Bottom of page 2. Produce. It says package continued frozen produce. So spinach is number 1. Peas, mixed veggies, broccoli, and corn. Okay. Really good. And like she said, we ideally you want it fresh, but life gets in the way, right? We work, we have children, we have school, we have other commitments, and sometimes that's not possible. So rather than canned, opt for frozen. Okay. Now over here, unsweetened nut milk, right? So if you tend to drink milk, then I would say don't just get rid of milk, just opt for a nut-based milk or a seed milk like hemp, right? Or almond, coconut, there are many. I would opt for an unsweetened milk because it's easier to incorporate in recipes.
Right.
And you don't want this sweetness. So a plain unsweetened milk. And it doesn't have as many calories. Okay? Fun food. Let's say you're gonna make some nachos and you're in the middle of the store and you're like, well, But how much fun is that, right? So there's vegan sour cream. There's vegan cheese. Now you can make your own, but there are times where you just want the convenience, right? So there's vegan butter, vegan breakfast sausage, vegan yogurt, right? Plant-based yogurt. So those are options. If you are transitioning, I think that those are good items to bring so that I'm getting rid of animal-based sour cream and I'm going to replace it with plant-based sour cream. And then after a period of time, you'll find that you'll no longer desire that, right? And then you can let that go. I think that there is definitely a place for those foods in helping you to transition from a standard American diet to a plant-based diet, so that you don't feel deprived.
Right.
I think a lot of people are not able to stick with it because they feel limited and deprived. It's not fun,
Right.
right? And then you want to move to a mind space where you don't look at food as entertainment. You don't look at food as a friend or a comforter. That food is our medicine. Food is for sustenance. That's why we have people in our lives, right? And we start working on relationships. Yeah. Okay, let's take it to the bulk section. Bulk shopping, you tend to see a lot of savings when you buy in bulk, right? I'm a chocolate purist, right? So my chocolate needs to have at least a 70% cacao content, which means that 70% is pure cacao, came from the cocoa nib chocolate. It doesn't have milk, doesn't have the sugar in it.
Where you get that from?
Right over here. Here we have our beans, our grains, our flours, Himalayan sea salt. Now let's look at the savings.
Those are
So,
the beans that I buy.
okay, so this is a pound of pinto beans. This is $1.79. They sell it over there. Let's find pinto beans. Pinto beans are 79 cents if you buy them in bulk. That's $1 savings. See what I mean? So what you do is you go and you get some mason jars, the super-sized mason jars, and you buy your bulk grains, you put them in your mason jars, and you set them up in your pantry, right? And they have a super long shelf life. Some, last for years. Some of the dry beans and grains last for years. So lots of savings. Don't be intimidated. Don't be intimidated. Go to the Whole Foods website. I mean, you can Google how to cook pinto beans. Super easy. You soak them overnight, right? To get all the
Crap.
the digestional, distressful agents out of them. You soak them overnight. You put them in a slow cooker. You go to work. You come home. They're cooked. Right? Wonderful source of protein. So I would recommend that you keep an assortment of beans and rice and grains in your pantry at all times. Well, I think we get overly concerned about protein content when we go plant-based.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily.
Okay. Protein in our fruits and vegetables, or
There's
just the
protein in
vegetables?
everything. There's protein in everything, right? If you eat a balanced diet of assorted vegetables and fruits, you will have enough protein.
Okay.
If you are an elite athlete and you work out all the time, I would recommend a protein powder. I would recommend a protein powder that doesn't have a lot of junk in it. That when you read the label, you can pronounce everything. It makes sense to you, right? Chemical free, doesn't have a lot of gums, guar gum, gellum, stuff like that. No sugar. So look and see what the carb content is, right? It needs to be really low. If it does have a sweetener, it has a natural sweetener like stevia. Okay? Sun Warrior is a really good one. Vega is another good one. Vega is very affordable, right? All of this is on your list. If you're going for rice, wild rice. You want to go wild rice? Or my all-time favorite is forbidden rice, black rice. But here's the thing about rice, right? Brown rice and white rice. Rice, the lighter the rice is, the higher the arsenic content.
Oh, Lord.
But listen, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. There are chemicals And a lot of things is in the soil. It's coming from the soil. That's why we want variety. That's why, like Pam said, we want to eat cruciferous vegetables. Think of cruciferous vegetables as pipe cleaners, digestive pipe cleaners. That is like those scrubbers, and as you eat it, it's going through, and it's pushing everything out, and it's cleaning everything out. That's what you want. And as it goes through, it's attaching itself to the heavy metals, right? Parsley is something that's really good that pulls heavy metals out of your body. And brown rice is certainly superior to white rice, because it's nothing but starch. It's been stripped of all of its nutrients. Black rice is the best. Pearled barley, couscous, quinoa. Quinoa is a perfect protein because it has the full amino acid profile. Now, why aren't beans a perfect protein? Because they need to be combined with a grain like rice. So you combine rice with beans and you have a perfect protein. Quinoa all by itself, just all alone, is perfect. So you want a protein source? Right there, quinoa. Okay. Find ways to add seeds into your diet. Sunflower seeds. Tahini is a wonderful source of protein. That's just some sesame seed paste. Okay. Pearl barley, millet. Millet is an ancient protein. It's an ancient grain, right? Think of what our ancestors ate. Right, an assortment, millet. Yeah, you have it for breakfast. A substitution for rice. It's excellent. Flours. You want a whole grain flour, right? Stay away from this. Soy isolate. Remember we talked about soy being overly used,
Right,
and being made convenient. That's it right there. Soy isolate protein. And they will have you think that you can mix that with some water and some berries and drink it, and yeah, you have a great source of protein. But it'll set you up for all sorts of problems with your immune system, with your thyroid. You want to stay away from soy isolate. Read labels. When you see that it's vegan, but then it's made with soy isolate, you may not want to eat that. Boca is made with soy isolate. Morningstar Farms uses a lot of soy isolate. Okay. When it comes to sweeteners, you want a whole sweetener, right? You don't want processed sugar. So molasses, maple syrup. Maple syrup comes from a tree. You just tap it, organic maple syrup, put a bucket, bottle it, and sell it to you. Brown sugar. Brown sugar is nothing more than white sugar where molasses has been added to it to make it brown.
Oh, so no.
So just because it's dark doesn't mean, oh, well, it's more natural. No, it's not. No, it's not. Turbinado. Turbinado is white sugar before it's bleached. It's still highly processed because it's the lesser processed version of processed sugar. Yeah. Coconut sugar is a great alternative, but it is a processed sugar. So it is a better processed sugar. It is a better processed sugar. But here's the thing about cane sugar is that they use bone fragments, charred bones, to process it.
Where they get the bones from?
Animals, dead animals. So processed sugar, cane sugar tends not to be organic, although they do have organic forms. But just know they didn't use that process, right? They didn't use the bones for it to be vegan, but it's still highly processed. Highly processed. Almond meal, cornmeal, unbleached white flour. You want to go for a whole wheat, whole grain flour. And there are so many different types out there, right? You know, in terms of flour, the lighter it is, typically the more processed it is. Sea salt and Himalayan sea salt. My favorite salt is Himalayan sea salt. White salt, white table salt, iodized salt, is void of any nutritional content, Right. Alternatively, Himalayan sea salt, natural, come from the mines in Pakistan, has 84 different naturally occurring nutrients. 84% has a totally different flavor profile. Himalayan salt enhances the taste of your food. Iodized salt just makes your food taste salty, in my opinion. Have you ever had it just taste salty?
Yeah.
Any questions about this aisle?
So what sugar can we use? Like,
None.
Okay,
I don't like that.
stevia is a wonderful alternative.
Yeah, I use that.
Okay,
When I use, I don't like
They
that.
stop using.
maple
You don't.
syrup,
I see, I always thought maple syrup
molasses,
was bad.
cinnamon,
You said coconut sugar.
coconut sugar, monk fruit, and it has a very low glycemic index sweetener. And the brand is Lakanto, Lakanto. Okay, maple syrup. Let's take it over here to the side. You want to go with the nut butters that have a single ingredient, no added oil, no added sugar, no added salt, just the nut butter. If you read the label on like Jiffy or Peter Pan peanut butter, it has hydrogenated oil, it has palm oil, it has sugar, it has salt. Okay, you didn't want all of that. You just wanted peanuts
That's all.
to put on your bread, right? Yeah. So a wonderful alternative are these that are made in store, or they have a section over here with the alternatives. Snacks and trail mix. We're gonna look away from the light. So granola, farina, that's a whole grain, oat bran. Come down here. You want to make sure that you have some dried sweetened berries or fruit in your cabinet, like raisins, tart cherries, cranberries. Wonderful way to sweeten up a recipe without adding a lot of, without the added sugar. Okay.
This for
Apricots. Apricots are really good iron source. Figs. Any questions about this section? This is where the magic happens.
Right.
So we talked about tofu. I have a magic trick for you when it comes to tofu. Buy the tofu. If you're using it as a meat replacement, I recommend firm and extra firm tofu. And when you buy it, throw it in the freezer when you get home, not in the refrigerator. By freezing it, it changes the texture altogether and it makes it kind of meaty. And then you squeeze it out. So you thaw it out and then you squeeze it like a sponge. Squeeze it, wrap it in a towel, let it sit on the counter and get the extra water out. And then you season it. And tofu tends to be a blank canvas and it just absorbs whatever flavor, whatever seasoning you put on it. So tofu is wonderful. So this is where the magic happens. The thing about meat, have you ever had meat that wasn't seasoned? Was it good?
No.
It's the seasoning. It's the marinade. Same thing with vegetables. Same thing. So I've listed for you at the top of page 2, these are the must-have seasonings. Arrowroot powder. Arrowroot is a wonderful thickener. It's an alternative to cornstarch, an alternative to flour, like if you're making a gravy. If you're making a soup or any recipe and it seems too watery, you mix arrowroot powder with a little water or some milk on the side and then slowly add it to the soup, the stew, the sauce to thicken it up. Dust it underneath your arms. You can mix it with arrowroot powder with a little baking soda, with some essential oil, and make your own deodorant. You need arrowroot powder. Bay leaves. My family's from Louisiana. You must have bay leaves in your beans, your dry beans, soups. Basil for is very versatile. Chili powder for your Latin cooking. Chilies. Cinnamon. If you are insulin sensitive. Cinnamon is a wonderful sweetener, and it will lower your blood sugar. Cloves, cumin, curry powder, dill, fennel. Fennel will make oats taste like sausage.
Look.
So I make oat patties. And do you like my oat patties? The oat patties taste like I have a version that I make like for like a southern, like, you know, Thanksgiving type meal, and then I have a version that I add fennel seed to and I make it taste like breakfast sausage. It's the fennel. See, it's not the sausage you're missing. You're missing the fennel, right? You're missing the flavor. You're missing the flavor. Dill is wonderful on potatoes. Garlic powder is good on everything. Garam masala. Go and look for some great, easy recipes for Indian cooking. They're going to tell you need some garam masala. Ginger powder, nutmeg, onion powder, oregano, smoked paprika. Smoked paprika will give your greens that smokiness that you're used to from like from smoked turkey and ham hocks and stuff like that, right? Smoked paprika. Parsley, all sorts of pepper, cayenne pepper, black, white, red pepper flakes, sage, thyme, turmeric. Turmeric is the holy grail. Turmeric is, you just want to add it to everything. And it deals with the inflammation in your body. It boosts your immune system. It's curative on so many different levels. You can make a golden milk tea that is just wonderful, a wonderful elixir just for everyday living. Variety. People have a hard time sticking with plant-based because they feel like they lack variety. They lack a flavor profile. This is it right here. It's all in the herbs and the spices. Any questions about?
So teas?
Yes.
So I started getting the leaf or the root of the teas.
Yeah.
How do you feel about tea bags and making teas, and how do you feel about that?
I think you want to get a bag that has not been treated, that has not been bleached, right? So you want a natural tea bag. And ideally, you want a tea steeper, like that's made of like a stainless steel or maybe ceramic.
Okay.
And go with the loose leaf.
Okay.
But there's nothing wrong with the convenient tea bags. You just want to make sure that it's from a reputable source. And, you know, like that 99-cent box of 150 tea bags may not be the way to go, right? One, because of the bags, and one, because of the quality of the tea. So in my pantry, at all times, I keep green tea because it's wonderful just for overall health. Peppermint tea, clear the sinuses, you know, seasonal colds. Dandelion is great for cleansing and detoxifying the adrenals. And chamomile is when you're feeling a little anxious, maybe a little sleepless, is very calming. So let's make our way over here. Cacao. Okay, so if you're accustomed to eating Hershey's, okay, this may be a shock to your system, right? So I'm saying maybe you start off with about 50% and then just work your way up. And what you'll find is you will crave, your craving for chocolate will be satiated with just a square as opposed to an entire bar because it doesn't have all the fillers in it. When your body is craving chocolate and you reach for a Snicker, you're only getting like 5% chocolate and 95% filler. So then it's like, I've eaten this Snicker, why am I still craving chocolate? I must be so greedy. Well, it's because the craving hasn't been fulfilled, right? Whereas one square, you can savor it. Lily's is a wonderful brand. They use stevia, right?
Yeah.
So I just discovered these. Okay,
Yeah.
y'all.
I just
Draw near. Okay, who likes M&Ms?
Yeah.
Peanut M&Ms? Vegan, natural M&Ms.
okay.
This is what I love about this. This is what I love about this. Turn to your last page. Go down the terms. Go down the terms. at the bottom of the page. You see terms? Now, regular M&Ms are brightly colored, right? But those colors are made out of petrochemicals that are derivatives of the coal industry. So your red M&Ms are linked to ADHD. Your blue M&Ms are linked to asthma and allergies. Your yellow M&Ms are linked to asthma, migraines, thyroid cancer, anxiety, depression, and that color is banned in Austria and Norway. Yellow 6 is linked to all of that, plus diarrhea, gastric upset, migraines, ADHD. Coffee is vegan, but what's really important is that it's fair trade, right? What does fair trade mean? It means that they're not using 5-year-olds and having them pick coffee beans for 16 hours a day. That they're not using slaves to process coffee beans, right? So we want to make sure that slaves aren't being used, people aren't being abused in the process, and that the growers are fairly compensated. Fairly compensated. So you just want to read the label and just make sure that it says fair trade. For it to be organic, in my opinion, that's not enough. And you know, as I was preparing for this tour, I was reading labels and it said, well, it's not consistent with a paleo, and it's not consistent with that. What's the difference between veganism, plant-based, and paleo is that those are diets. This is a lifestyle. And it's not just about food, right? Of course, it's about being kind to ourselves, but then extending that kindness to the world. So where are the walnuts? So walnuts are $6.49 a pound. That's not bad. But when we get closer to fall, like they're gonna be like $1.99 a pound. And I stockpile because I use walnuts. I make meat, taco meat out of walnuts. So what I do is I use sun-dried tomatoes, rehydrate them, add them to my food processor with walnuts and like taco seasoning, cumin, chili powder, cayenne pepper, a little sea salt, a little garlic, a little onion powder, and then pulse it, and it tastes like ground beef. You don't seem to believe me. She's like, I'm not convinced. You should try it. You should try it. Really, really good. I like to make a taco salad using, I call it walnut meat. Really, really good. So that's a staple in my kitchen, and because it's a staple, I keep my nuts in my refrigerator, in my freezer, and because you don't want it to go rancid. The oils in the nuts are very sensitive to light, sensitive to air. So when you get it home, put it in an airtight container, put it in the fridge, put it in your freezer. Sometimes life is as such where you just don't have time, right? You want to be able to make whole, fresh food, but sometimes schedule, life happens, right? Here's a vegan chopped salad with sesame. They have garbanzo beans, bunch of vegetables, romaine lettuce, broccoli, winning for sure. Cut up fruit. That's not ideal. I know we've heard recently about recalls with cut up fruits and vegetables, right? The good thing is that these are made in store. Ideally, you want to do it yourself. But it's there. It's convenient, right? Isn't it great that you could just walk in and grab some hummus? Hummus is a wonderful protein source. Over there we have bread. Now, at the beginning of the tour, we talked about how in Europe, on other continents, there's a phenomenon called day-old bread. We don't experience that here because of all the preservatives. Over there, in that small refrigerated bakery, are breads without preservatives. My favorite go-to bread is Ezekiel bread. Ezekiel bread doesn't have any flour, no preservatives, made with seeds and water.
Is it over there? Yeah.
It's over there. It's over there. Yes. Yes. It will last a long time as long as you keep it in the freezer or the refrigerator.
Okay, yeah.
But it must be refrigerated because it doesn't have any preservatives. Okay? Now let me tell you about Ezekiel bread. It's pretty dense. So don't put it in your toaster on dark, right? Because you have like bread crackers. You have bread crackers. You have bread crackers. So you just want to go light. You want to go real light.
It's not like what we used to say.
Yeah. And you know, I grew up in a house where we would go through a couple of loaves of bread a week. You're not going to do that with that bread because it's very nutrient dense. Like a slice of bread is all that you need, really. One slice.